Doo 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 doo. No, I can't sing. I'm not even gonna try. Leave me alone. This is D. Project Airwaves coming at you again, back at you with another session. I don't know why I keep saying I'm coming at you again, because I mean, let's be honest, in my head that just doesn't sound right. But we're gonna stick with that for this particular episode. All right, moving forward. All right, Gucci, let's do it. Something that's been on my mind, really just weighing me down lately, because I've been seeing it kind of get worse and worse as the generations go by. And it doesn't look like we're doing much to fix this particular issue. And I'm not sure why we're not trying to fix it, because in my mind, if something's broken, you fix it unless you want it broken. And using that as my diving board to jump off into the deep end, we're going to talk about parenting. Now, I guess you kind of say it's a taboo topic. It's not taboo per se. People don't want to, more or less, people don't want to be told how to parent, and that's not what I'm here to do. However, I'm here to give you my viewpoint on parenting, specifically single parent homes. With single parent homes, it's just a problem, man. And I was raised by a single mom. It was me and my older brother of 6 years. She's 6 years older than me. Being raised by a single parent. Now, at the time I was being raised, I didn't know no difference. I didn't know not having a father figure in the household kind of changed up the dynamic of the family. And so until you grow out of that and you start looking at it from an outsider looking in perspective, as opposed to being someone on the inside, you start to see the potholes and the flaming hoops and the catastrophic disasters that my mother had to just navigate for 20 plus years, still doing in some situations, to raise me and my brother. And it's, you know, I if you ask me, give her a fucking trophy and $1 million and don't ask her to work another day of her life. She just raised 2 men by herself, and shit, it wasn't easy. So to give you a little bit of backstory, I already kind of started off. My brother's 6 years older than me. My mom was adopted, so our whole family dynamic was already a little off. My mom's kind of like the little orphan Annie. You can kind of, yeah, that'll kind of explain enough of it anyway. Where she was adopted by my grandparents, but at the time they adopted her, they were already technically old enough to be her grandparents. So it was kind of a generational gap, probably 2 multi-generational gap in there, because my grandfather is very old fashioned. You would have thought the slaves had just been released from slavery. That's how old fashioned my grandfather was. You work for every fucking thing. Anything you want. I don't care if it costs a penny, if it costs $1, 10, 20, 100. Anything you want, you work for it. I wanted to go get a pickle from the corner store. Granddaddy wasn't just going to throw me $1. He was like, nope, go in the backyard, pick up the dog shit. Because he had this little garden in the back. He'd clean up the garden. He had these water jugs around the garden because he was always prepping. It was funny. My grandfather was a prepper before preppers were preppers. He had like 10, 15 just full gallon water jugs just chilling outside just in case. And then he had geese, he had chickens, he had fucking something else, I can't remember, but it was those 4 animals in his backyard. Not to mention there was housework. My nanny, or my grandma, some people don't know that term, but I call my grandma nanny. She would do little things around the house. I'd have to help her clean. Might have to go wash the car, go clean up the front yard, trim the tree, rearrange the rocks. He had some sugar cane in his backyard, so we had to make sure, you know, we kept all the bugs and shit off it, because he didn't use pesticides or anything like that. It was all natural. Everything was natural for him, as natural as he could be where he was living in Las Vegas. I'll put it that way. And so I learned to work for every fucking thing. Now, while my grandfather wanted me to get an education, it was no, you know, you need to be brilliant so you can be the next Einstein or the next, you know, insert smart person here. It wasn't that. It's, you need to be smart so people don't get over on you. You need to have an education so people don't steal your money. You need to have an education so that you know when you're getting a good deal. That was his kind of viewpoint on education. Get just enough of it that you can make it through life. Okay, cool. My mom, on the other side of things, well, no, let's shift to my nanny real quick. My nanny, so yeah, my grandfather, he's just works. He's a carpenter, works with his hands. He's got these big stone, rocky hands, big, tall, like 6'2", 6'3" man. He just, Then you have my nanny. Nanny's this fucking angel. Just, she just kind of floated everywhere. It was just like, oh, hey, she loved everybody. She always cooked. She was always cleaning. Loved my grandfather to death, regardless of their situation. And, that was my first real, I guess you could say, look at relationships. Because, like I said, my mom was a single mother at the time. So there was no male figure at that time for me to kind of know how things are supposed to work. So I got a lot of my, day-to-day man information from my grandfather. And so, it's don't show emotions, don't be weak, don't get your ass whooped. If you get beat up in a fight, work out, train, and go back, fight them again and win. Anything like that. I got into a fight in school once, got suspended, came home, or my mom took me to my grandparents' house. My mom's crying, she's all upset. Her grandfather looked at me and goes, "Did you win?" I said, "Yep." He said, "Okay," and he walked away. That was it. So that's my grandfather. Like I said, my nanny, she would just kind of float in the room. She was a breath of fresh air. My family's very rooted in the church. My grandfather and my uncle helped build one of the bigger churches out here back in the day. Now we have all these mega churches popping up. But as far as Martin Luther King in the ghetto and the West Side, as some people would say, my grandfather and my uncle built one of the biggest churches in the ghetto at that time, back in the I want to say 60s, 70s potentially. So, my grandfather was a deacon. My nanny was an usher, I do believe. And so, everybody knew them. They were the hot shit in the hood. They were ghetto fabulous, before Lil Wayne and all these motherfuckers knew what that shit was. That was my grandparents. They weren't blinged out in chains or anything like that. They just had really nice shit in a really not nice area. Okay. And so with my grandmother, she was always talking about God, always quoting scripture, or always had something insightful and loving to say, always had something, endearing. It's almost like watching, I don't know if some of you are old enough, or some of you may even be too young, but Andy Griffith. My grandmother was like Aunt B. If you don't know what that is, go ahead and watch like 1 or 2 seasons of Andy Griffith and come back, finish the episode. But my grandma was like Aunt B. She just always had love in her heart. She's always had something nice to say. I was a big ass kid. Me and my brother were big ass fucking kids, okay? And I say that with enthusiasm and conviction. We were big ass fucking kids. So my nanny, she's probably like 5'5", I guess. I didn't really have much to compare her to, but my nanny was small. And she used to, not so much my brother, but she would rock me to sleep. She would hold me in her arms, sing some hymn, and rock me to sleep. Well, by the time I was like 5, I was big, yo. I was like 80, 90 pounds. No, was that too big? Let's say like 60, 70 pounds. Okay, I was a big 5-year-old, 6-year-old. Man, my nanny would just, if I got upset, because I was the emotional one. My brother was the don't take no bullshit. I was the emotional one. I cried at the drop of a hat. I just everything set me off, because I paid more attention to my mom at the time. And as then the women do tend to be a little more emotional as far as men, but that's from men's aspect of things. That's from training and upbringing. So we still have the emotions. We just don't like to express them. But at that time, growing up with my mom, I learned to express my emotions. Any fucking emotion I was feeling, you were going to know. If I wanted to throw a temper tantrum, I was going fucking ham, yo. Kicking, screaming, throwing shit, all of it. There was, I know, squirrel moment. There was one time my mom dropped me off at my cousin's house because she was working 2, damn near 3 jobs at the time to take care of me and my brother. And so she dropped me off at my cousin's house. I think she was gone for like 4, maybe 5 hours. She did a quick little stint at a job, got some sleep, came back to get me. I cried the entire time. I did not move from the front door the entire time. I cried. I screamed, and all I wanted was my mommy. If you don't have my mommy, go fuck yourself. That's how it was. I didn't eat. I didn't go to the bathroom. I just cried till my mom came back. I'm a mama's boy. I'm an ankle biter. Okay, I'll gnaw them. Moving forward, that was kind of like my younger adolescent years. My grandfather really didn't get involved with my kind of my manhood shaping, whatever you want to call it, rite of passage. He didn't really get involved until I was closer to my teen years and I could really grasp a lot of stuff. But man, he did not hesitate to fucking whoop me. Okay, now when I say whoop me, I was not abused as a child. There's no way, shape, or fucking form I will ever tell you I was abused, because I was not. However, I was an asshole and I got my ass whooped a lot. My grandfather had a tree out front, and now this should tell you a whole fucking lot about the separation of generations, okay? When I got in trouble, my grandfather had this big ass buck knife, okay? I saw him use the knife to skin a deer, okay? So it ain't no small fucking knife. This ain't no, oh, I just came out of the Boy Scouts knife, okay? He would give me his knife, send me out front to cut a switch off the tree. And then if I cut the switch too small, not only would he send me to get another switch, but then he would make me watch him shave the bark off the switch like he was prepping it. And I was like, oh, fucking shit. What is going on? Obviously, I didn't think those words as a child, but in my mind now, if I could have, I would have said, oh, fucking shit. Because the switch is worse than any belt you will ever feel in your life. I don't care. Call it a kink, call it whatever fuck you want nowadays. A switch for disciplinary actions is the worst thing you will ever feel in your entire fucking life. I say that, I stand by that, write that on my tombstone, because I got that switch. Me and the switch became friends. My ass and that switch were BFFs, okay? I was an asshole as a child. So like a diamond being shaped, I had to be put under pressure, and I had to be refined, because I had a lot of energy and I didn't like to listen. My mom was not one to put her foot down very much. That's just how it was. So my grandfather was the disciplinarian 9 times out of 10. Now, going further into my discipline life, there was one time me and my brother were fighting. Me and my brother fought like cats and dogs. 6 years difference. I didn't give a shit. I was going for that motherfucker, and I didn't give a fuck. However, he was stronger than me. So there was one time me and my brother, we were just going at it. My nanny was watching us. My grandfather's at work. Mom was out. We gave her a headache. Okay, in my mind, I'm like, it's a headache. Whatever. See my mom take aspirin or something. I was like, just blah, blah, blah. Well, that's not how my grandfather took the situation. He came home from work. He said, what's wrong? Then he said, I have a headache. He said, what happened? She said, the boys were fighting all day. He looked at us. My grandfather did not show emotions, at least not to me or to my brother. Sorry if I'm getting loud. I don't give a shit. I'm excited. He didn't show emotions. He just looked, and then he would just move. And then you're like, fuck. You could just felt the ass whooping coming a mile away. And he was very chill about it. He was like, okay. Took my brother first. Let him have it. Brother looked at me like, oh, it's about to fucking be bad. I was like, shit. Go in the room. He's sitting there, cool, calm, and collected. And he's like, drop your pants. So I was like, huh? He's like, drop your pants. And I just took him down a little bit. I was like, let me just give him my butt. Let me just show him my butt. Go ahead. He was like, no, to your ankles. I was like, huh? He's like, to your ankles. Oh, okay. If you've ever seen Bleach, the man flash stepped. That's how he whooped my ass. He would just flash step with the motherfucking switch. And I just... We're talking about parenting. Sorry, getting back on track. Squirrel is gone. So, a lot of my relationship interaction, man-woman interaction, a lot of my learning these things was coming from my grandparents. I spent a lot of time with them because, like I said, my mom was working about 2 to 3 jobs. So much time I would spend summer vacation. So 3 months at my grandparents' house every year. I think it was for about a good 5-6 years before they passed away. Yeah, about a good 5-6 years. And so, I learned a lot of stuff from them. As far as I was concerned, my grandfather is the living current example of how a man treats a woman. You know what I mean? You open a door for a woman, you be strong, you earn money, you buy a house, you take care of your woman, you have a family, you take care of your family, point blank. Blah. That's it. So, I didn't realize until I reached probably about like 9, 10, when my mom really sat down and talked to me because my hormones were starting to kick in. And she was like, look, I know you look up to your grandfather, but times have changed. Things are different. People are different. Now, so some of you may call this toxic masculinity. I say, get that shit the fuck out of here. That's the stupidest terminology I've ever heard in my fucking life. Sometimes you just have people with bad habits. Let's do that, okay? My grandfather had some bad habits. Of course, a lot of men back in that day had bad habits. With a woman, don't speak unless spoken to. You know what I mean? Do as I say, not as I do. If I do something wrong, you just fucking go with it. Love me anyway. Bad habits, okay? My mom had to further refine me, showing me the other side of being a man, the softer side of things. And so, she kind of gave me more of you have to have a girlfriend. you, have to, you have to start with a girlfriend. People don't just end up together forever, obviously. Because my grandparents, they're old fashioned. We didn't talk about sex. We didn't talk about relationships. We didn't talk about none of that. It was work. Either you worked, you were having fun, you were being a kid, but we didn't talk about nothing else. Okay, that's gonna give you some inclination as to how my mom ended up with 2 kids without being married. And so she kind of had to sit down and was like, look, girls aren't like that anymore. She kind of had to weed out the bad habits with the good habits. So it's like, yes, open the door for a woman, pull out her chair for her, compliment her, tell her she looks pretty, buy her nice things, take her out from time to time, things like that. Also, be a strong man so that you can protect that woman. If you guys have a family, you need to be able to protect your family. I grew up with dogs. We had 5 dogs. My grandfather had 5 dogs in the backyard. So I'm a dog man, big dogs, not little fucking dogs. Not no fucking chihuahuas or Lhasa Apsos or whatever. I want a big fucking dog, okay? Give me a husky, give me a German shepherd, a pit bull, a Rottweiler. Then those my motherfucking dogs. Moving forward. My mom had to show me that, you have to be gentle. Okay, my grandfather taught me how to work, so I'm even to this day I'm still rough with everything. You give me something delicate, I will break it, not intentionally. I'm just rough because I've been working my whole life. It was every day, shit crack of dawn. My grandfather woke up. This was around the time he stopped going to work, and it was we're doing the backyard, we're doing the front yard, we're doing something for the cars, we're going to fucking Costco to get groceries, we're taking this long ass drive to go visit somebody, we're delivering something, we're going to Arizona Charlie's, we're doing this, we got family in town, we got this and that. It was always something. So with my mom, as things got a little easier for her, I'm skipping ahead because it would just take way too long for me to go through my whole life story. As things got better for her as far as work and finances, she moved us. We went from Bonanza and what is it? Oh, it was Bonanza and shit. I can't remember the street now. Nellis? I think it was Nellis, something like that, somewhere around there. That's where we started. We started off in the ghetto, the ghetto. My mom kept moving us west. In Vegas, if there's anything you need to know about Vegas, the further west you go, the better it gets. Okay, starting from far east to the center of the city, the further west you go, the better it gets. A little bit has changed now because we've spread out and built more and developed more. But back in the day, you go west. Everything is west. You go up the hill. You're like the Jeffersons. You're moving on down. That's what we was doing. So my mom would get better work. We would move into better apartments. We usually didn't stay in any one apartment complex for more than a year or two. So, making friends was a thing, but it wasn't. And definitely making girlfriends was not a thing. And so, with growing up, seeing, my mom did eventually find love, meet my wonderful, amazing stepfather that she has now, really getting the feel of things. She imparted her wisdom onto me. Because a lot of the stuff she couldn't talk about with my grandparents, she had to find a way to talk about with me and my brother. Mind you, a woman trying to tell 2 boys how to be men. It's a lot. It's a fucking lot. Especially, obviously, puberty, hormones, and sex. That was a shit show. We will go into that in another session, I promise you, because it is fucking hilarious. Just somebody at some point in time in the comments tell me about Christmas, and I'll be like, oh shit. But moving forward, my mom had to show me a lot of stuff that was outdated as far as my grandparents. There were a lot of confusing times, but a lot of very rewarding times, because I learned how to be a man, and I learned how to be a gentle man. Not a weak man, but I learned how to be a gentle man. You can love and be strong at the same time. There are checks and balances, and you do sacrifice things to bring on other things, but that's just life. These are the choices we make. What I wanted to dive into really quick was about being a single parent, because seeing the struggle of my mother, it's heartbreaking, but also it's very uplifting. However, I would not wish that on anybody. Being a single parent sucks. It's bad. It's not healthy. It's not good. It's extra strain and it's extra work for that individual. As we all would like to think, children are a blessing. They're a gift. Creating a life should be something amazing. Unfortunately, with the way things have been working for these past, 100 years, damn near, we don't have that family dynamic anymore. We don't have. I used to be able to wake up. When I would go to my grandparents' house, I would wake up every fucking morning. And I kid you not, every fucking morning I woke up, my nanny was cooking breakfast, okay? She was a house mom. I don't give a fuck. She was a house mom, and she was a damn good house mom. My grandparents before they adopted my mom, they had already had my uncle. And so they had already got him out and on his way. My mom was out and on her way. My uncle had his daughters, and my mom had me and my brothers. So my grandparents were done. They're like, yo, the nest is empty. All motherfuckers go. We're good. But every fucking morning there was coffee brewing. My nanny was cooking. TV was on playing The Price is Right. Or if I woke up too late, Days of Our Lives or Guiding Lights, As the World Turns, The Young and the Restless. I got every day. Okay, every day. I got used to that. That to me, that was a life, Grandfather went to work, nanny stayed home, she cooked. Mom didn't have that luxury. However, mom made it an effort every fucking Sunday. Okay? She cooked or she took us out to eat. Okay? So that was the taste of, normality from what we were used to. And so now we don't have that. We don't have it, or at least we don't have it as often as it used to be. As it's not as abundant as it used to be. Being a single parent, even more so a single mom, is kind of like cool now. I won't say cool. I won't become cynical. I'm gonna reel that back. It's more acceptable, and obviously I'm not saying people should be shunned. There's variables at work. There's unintended circumstances and all that fun shit. Okay, let's put that off to the side. I'm talking about two consenting adults deciding to have sex, and then the woman pops up pregnant. That's what I'm talking about. There's no push, at least not that I've seen on the news, in the media, or anything like that, for us to get back to at least the whole family. Okay, women, no, you're not a housewife. You don't have to stay at home and cook and raise babies all the time. You can go out and work, get an education, do all that fun shit. Go, have fun. But for some reason, the having dad around is not necessary. You know what I mean? Like, and I'm gonna get just a hair irritated, because I've been seeing it more and more as I grow up, and it's very annoying, because I know, for myself, growing up without a stable father figure put me at a disadvantage. Okay? Like I said, my grandfather really wasn't big on education. He wanted me to stay in school, but he dropped out of school, I think, in like the 6th grade, so he could start working to provide for his family. So my grandfather didn't have a college degree. My grandmother didn't have a college degree. Literally nobody in my family at that time had a college degree that I knew of. And they certainly weren't interacting with me to that extent if they did. So as far as I knew, my mom was the first person I ever knew to get a college degree. But even for her, that was a struggle, because she had to she had to deal with raising me and my brother. She had to help take care of my grandparents as they got into their older years, and she was just running around doing a lot of extra. So with me, college and, military, all that stuff, it wasn't talked about. It was, hey, get a job, help your mom, pay rent, move out, get your own spot, start your own family, be good. but everything's different. You know what I mean? Like a guy can't get hit one job and own a house and a car and take care of a family with one job. You know, the cost of living has gone through the fucking roof. Nowadays, you're lucky if you can pay for a 1-bedroom apartment upstairs by yourself. You know, and that's just fucking mind blowing to think that shit has gotten that expensive that the average man cannot take care and or support himself and a family off of his one income. That's just fucking mind blowing to me. But moving forward, you know, especially raising boys, you know, in a single parent household, when it's a mom raising a boy, things get difficult. Shit gets challenging. And yes, I might step on somebody's toes. I don't give a shit right now because I'm talking from my own experience. Growing up, I had a lot of feminine tendencies, and that's because grew up with my mom. I loved my mom. I was on her all day, attached to her hip all day. Okay. If we were going to sleep, I was sleeping next to mom. If we was going somewhere, I was standing next to mom. I was holding her hand. I was in the fucking car. I had to have visual contact on my mom at all times. If I did not, I was throwing a tantrum. So I took on a lot of her feminine traits. Why wouldn't you? That's what you're seeing on a day-to-day basis. That's what you know. So a lot of things that I thought were normal and cool weren't. You know, I walked around in her high heels. I put on her jackets and, you know, would kind of do that walk like girls do, you know, that little hip swing thing. And, you know, when I would bend over, I would like kind of arch my back a little bit and shit like that. I was a young kid. I was impressionable. I didn't know any better. There was no male presence in my life like that. So getting older, my mom had a few potentials, and, you know, thankfully they were potential enough that they kind of helped me segue into becoming more manly. Now, I wasn't homosexual, you know, by no means that I interested in men. I still like girls. I just had a lot of feminine tendencies because I was being around my mom so much. And so, you know, as I got older, my grandfather, you know, he'd take me hunting, he'd take us shooting. My brother was manly. Brother was manly, okay? He was a manly man. And so that was kind of another reason me and him fought a lot, was because he didn't like how weak I was. He didn't like how emotional I was, how soft I was. You know, I was trying to learn how to cook, and, you know, I was learning how to make pancakes and silver dollar pancakes and waffles and all of this stuff. And, you know, at that time, it just really wasn't looked at as manly, you know. So as I got older, my grandfather kind of took me away from that. He was like, no, it's time for you to become a man. It's time for you to toughen up. And so he kind of started pulling me on, you know, to taking me under his wing. And, you know, seeing my brother, I kind of started noticing the men. I guess it's kind of weird because I didn't notice all the men around at the time, but I did once I would say about 9-10. And so I was like, oh shit, that's really feminine. You know, I shouldn't be doing these things. And at that time, you know, I grew up in the 90s. So everything was, you know, GAY. And so it was like, hey, stop acting GAY. Don't talk like that. That's GAY. And that's this and that. And you're GAY. And it was like, oh my God, I'm not GAY. So, you know, I had that whole coming to terms and learning myself and trying to figure out myself. But I guess the point I'm getting at is it took longer than it needed to because, you know, my grandparents weren't around for as long as I would have liked. They both passed away when I was about 16, 17. And as most of you know, because I've seen our analytics, 16, 17 are anywhere between like 15 and 21 are a lot of formative years in your life. That's when you're really shaping the person you're going to become. And so I didn't have a lot of that input throughout those times outside of my mother and, you know, whatever potentials may have come through. So, you know, I had to learn how to be a man by reflecting on the stuff my grandfather taught me, watching my brother. He was a dick. he was a man, but he was a dick. And so, you know, I had to kind of figure it out by watching TV. You know, and as most of you know, that is not the best way to learn things. But thankfully, I learned enough because my mom kept me in, you know, she censored what I watched and what I was exposed to. But I learned, you know, a lot of the manly tendencies I learned were from Star Trek, you know, Captain Picard, William T. Riker, fucking Living Single, Kyle and Obi. and watching Andy Griffith and Dick Van Dyke and the Jeffersons and just all these shows, back in the day, the Cosbys, definitely, when the shows meant something and they were trying to teach you a fucking lesson. I don't know what the shit is on TV now. That was how I learned how to be a man, because while my brother was around, he was out in the streets. He was just doing his thing. He's 6 years older than me. It was just too big of a disconnect for us to hang out like that often. So he was out in the streets. My mom was working. My grandparents, they had just passed away. So I really didn't have a lot of male, input going on, like, the manly side of things. So I learned a lot of that stuff by watching TV. And to me, that's crazy that a child or a teenage boy should have to learn how to be a man by watching TV because he has no dad. You know what I mean? A girl should not have to learn to be feminine through watching TV or through the Cosmo magazine or through fucking YouTube because she has no mom. The family dynamic is so fucked off. It's just crazy. It's just so crazy to me because, it's obvious. It's so obvious. I tell people all the time, I believe this whole gender shenanigans, because I think if I use any other word, somebody's just going to think I'm a bigot or whatever. But this gender shenanigans popped off because the family dynamic has been destroyed. Okay, dad out of the picture. If you look at most of these movies nowadays where dad is in the picture, he's literally in a fucking picture. Okay, not physically there, but in a picture. Or he's weak, he's subservient, he's stupid, he's quote unquote toxic. It's none of that strong shit. Like I grew up watching Doug. Okay, Doug, fucking amazing cartoon. If you ever get a chance to watch it, watch fucking Doug. Both of his parents and his sister Judy. I grew up watching a lot of shows like that where both parents were in. Fucking the dinosaurs. The dinosaurs. What was it? Oh no. What was it? The Land That Time Forgotten something. It was some show where these people got thrust into the center of the earth and they were back in prehistoric times, but the mother and father were there. And a lot of these shows I was watching had mom and dad. Even Reboot. Okay, Reboot is a great cartoon from the 90s. You had Bob, Enzo, Dot, Hexadecimal, all those motherfuckers. But even Enzo had a mother and a father figure. A lot of these shows were geared towards that. And it wasn't until like the mid 90s you started seeing more of the more single parent situations going on, which I've been picking up on. It's been increasing ever steadily since, and especially now with this female empowerment. A lot of dudes are just getting their balls chopped off just from jump, and it's mind blowing to me. But with single parent households, you're at a disadvantage because you're not getting the best of both worlds. Now, don't get it twisted. I'm not saying if you have both parents in your life, you're going to be straight and this and that. No. Not saying that. What I'm saying is you get the best of both worlds and you have the most opportunities for success. It will also better help you to identify who you want to be and what you want to be when you have both perspectives. I grew up with a very one-sided perspective, thinking all men were assholes and that we're all just horny dogs just looking to, get a nut. And that's not it. You know what I mean? That's not it. I had people try to tell me, oh, you were psychologically abused when they told you, your grandfathers had never told you not to show your emotions and not to cry and this and that. And no. You guys are getting it wrong. You're just getting it so fucking wrong. And I don't understand how. When I was raised not to show emotions, it wasn't to bottle everything up and never show any emotion. It was don't show signs of weakness under the right circumstances. Because 9 times out of 10, if you walked into a car dealership, you walked into a furniture store, you went to get a house, you were dealing with a dude. It was a dude dealing with a dude. And what do dudes do? We square each other up. Okay? My grandfather taught me how to give a strong fucking handshake because you don't want to look like no bitch. He taught me how to dress myself nicely so that people took me seriously. He taught me how to talk with some fucking intellect in my voice so that people would listen to what the fuck I was saying. He taught me a lot of these things which go into being a man. He taught me not to fucking cry because guess what? You don't cry over spilt fucking milk. You go buy another fucking bottle of milk. That's what you do. You don't cry over dumb shit. Yes, my grandparents passed away. I sobbed like a bitch. And that's okay. You're supposed to cry sometimes, but you do it privately. You do it in a well-conducted manner. You don't do it for any extended period of time. You get it out. You wipe yourself off. You dust yourself off. You keep fucking moving, because guess what? Life goes on. That's those life lessons, okay? That's how that works. If I want you to take me seriously, one man to another, I got to talk to you like I know what the fuck I'm saying, but I also have to make sure you take me seriously. So I have to visually appeal to you. And on a physical level, like I said, with a handshake, I have to appeal to all of those particular things just so you will take me seriously and listen to the fuck I have to say. And yes, life is just that complex. However, a lot of these lessons, these life lessons, have been twisted and misconstrued and just discombobulated, all types of fucked off. And it's looked at now as toxic and negative, and men should be more emotional, and you should cry whenever you want and express your feelings and blah, blah, blah. And if you ask me, honestly, men have gotten so fucking soft and weak, yo. I just don't understand, okay? Men have these little boys have no fucking respect for their elders. I at my old apartment, before we moved into this house we're in, we were across the street from a bus stop. One day at the bus stop, a fight broke out between a bunch of kids, okay? Some of the adults got involved. I saw this teenage boy square up with a grown-ass man, okay? I was like, yeah, this dude's going to knock this little kid out, teach him a lesson. That boy swung on the man, clocked him in the jaw. The dude hit the ground, and the boy laughed, took off running. I was like, what in the holy flaming fuck? It's one of those things where we've lost all of the proper guidance we used to have. First of all, I'm not swinging on no adult. When I was a kid, I'm not swinging on nobody who's an adult. Because guess what? My grandfather taught me, I don't give a fuck who you can whoop. Okay, there's always an ass out there that you can whoop. But guess what? There's always somebody out there that can whoop your ass. So as far as you know, you won that fight, that one fight. But that little weakling, that little dude's ass you just whooped, can go back, get his people, and then come back and whoop your ass. So that's this. It's one of those things you always want to keep in mind. You know what I'm saying? And so, like, to me, you respect your elders. Like, I'm not gonna talk down. I'm not gonna cuss out an adult. That's fucking disrespectful. I don't give a fuck what they're saying to me. That's disrespectful. You know what I'm saying? Like, your teachers in school, I don't give a fuck. Your teacher has it out for you. Okay, so work harder. You know what I mean? Earn that respect. Demand that respect. Don't cuss out the teacher. Don't start swinging on the teacher. Start throwing shit at them or harassing them on social media. You weak pussy ass bitch. Like, where are your balls, yo? Like, I'm gonna focus on men because I can't talk about females. I'm a man. I'm gonna stay on my side of the field. But dude, like, men have no balls. These boys out here are bitches. Everything. Oh, I'm gonna shoot you. Oh, I'm gonna stab you. I'm gonna get my boys. You bitch ass motherfucker. What happened to one-on-one? What happened to taking your ass whooping like a man? What happened to learning some motherfucking respect, some self-restraint? What happened to that? No, we done lost it. This is all gone. We treat women like shit. We talk to elders like shit. People treat their kids like shit. I've watched single moms abuse their fucking kids just because they got a dick. Like, okay, so he's a little boy. He doesn't know what it's like to be a man. Why are you treating him like a grown-ass man and he's a little boy? The fuck is wrong with you? Everybody's walking around here with mommy and daddy issues, and it's because the family dynamic has been fucking destroyed, absolutely obliterated. So now everybody's walking around here all fucking confused because they don't know how to feel. You know, they're jealous of other people's happiness, and it's just like, why? We should all be on the same page to some extent. My fucking upbringing. You shouldn't be getting abused at home. You shouldn't be getting abused by family members. You shouldn't be getting abandoned by the people who are supposed to be fucking protecting you. This is mind-blowing. Okay? It's fucking mind-blowing. I don't get it. I don't know what happened. Okay? I have faith in humanity that one day we will correct this error that we have made. Because right now, with the way things are looking, like, I literally feel like men are going to start being castrated at any day, any moment. For some reason, the penis is bad. You know what I mean? Testosterone is bad. Toxic masculinity and toxic this. And he's being toxic and he's mansplaining and he's manspreading. And I'm just being me. If I do something that offends you or hurts your feelings, educate me. Don't judge me. Don't hate me. Don't talk down to me. Don't hurt me. Educate me, because it's just possible, just so possible that maybe I didn't have the same life experience you had. So I see things in a different fucking light, from a different fucking perspective than you. So you gotta give me a chance, yo. You gotta give me a chance. Everybody's so fucking sensitive now. Nobody wants to just listen. Like, just shut the fuck up and listen. Chill. We don't have to yell. We don't need signs. We don't need you 5, 6, 10, 20 people deep yelling the same fucking thing. Because guess what? They've been doing that. They did that decades ago. They did that centuries ago, generations ago. Shit ain't changed. So with you doing it now ain't going to change shit. It's not. I'm sorry to tell you. There are other ways we have to go about fixing the system. But we have to start with home. We have to get back to home. Where is home? Where's mom and dad? Where? Oh, mom's out being a stripper because she's trying to put herself through college, and dad's out being a pimp because he just don't like bitches. The fuck? The fuck? I have respect for those hardworking motherfuckers like my mom. If you're not even close to that fucking level, don't look at me. Don't even fucking talk to me. Don't tell me how to parent, okay? I'm in a situation right fucking now where I feel more comfortable getting with a girl who is single and has a child than I would be making my own children. Because the women I have been with have been toxic for me. I don't want a baby mama. I don't want to be a baby daddy. I want to have my wife, and I want to have the mother of my child and or children. That's it. No, oh, well, I'll try again later, and shit just don't. No, for me, I'm talking about strictly for D. None of this applies to the rest of you. I'm just talking about for my life. I don't want to be a single parent. And I hate seeing other single parents. I have been in 3 relationships at this current moment in my life. I've been in 3 relationships where these women have been single. Baby daddy ain't shit, in jail, trying to be a fucking rapper, coked out of his mind somewhere. And here I come, and they put me on a fucking pedestal. No. I'm just a dude. As far as I'm concerned, I was just raised right. You know what I mean? Like, why wouldn't I want to take care of my family? If I want you and you have a kid, that means I got to take both of y'all. I can't just take one. I'm not just going to ignore your kid, yo. But at the same time, I also expect you to have some fucking common sense and be like, look, I made a mistake. I'm righting my wrongs. Okay? I grew up without a father. He wasn't around. He didn't do shit. You know what I mean? So there's no need for you to be involved. And I get that. I understand that. And I thank my mother for that, because that side of the family, a little cray. However, I'm upset because of the disadvantages I grew up with. You know what I mean? I'm upset because there are kids in far worse situations, far worse family settings that have no choice. And I had to deal with some of those kids because I used to be a youth leader at my church before our church closed due to COVID. I used to be a youth leader, and I've dealt with troubled teens. I've seen the broken households. I've seen the fucked up family dynamics. And the shit ain't easy to deal with, and it's upsetting, and it's heartbreaking to watch every fucking day. You know what I mean? And you just want to rescue every fucking child, and you can't. You know what I mean? You know you can't. And waiting for the system to figure it out, waiting for the government to figure it out, it's not going to happen. There's too many fucking loopholes. Everything's fucked off right now. Okay? I pray and I hope that humanity will get its fucking act together and figure it out, yo. Like, we're trying to fix so many things. We're trying to do too much, y'all. We're trying to do way too fucking much. Calm down, yo. Chill. Take a break. Okay, let's back it up, because the problem is you can't move too forward sometimes. A lot of people are like, oh, I only want to be moving forward. I don't want to look back, because if you're looking back, then you're never going to be moving forward. That's not necessarily true. With always persistently moving forward, sometimes you overlook things. Sometimes you miss things. Sometimes you misidentify things. Sometimes you misunderstand things. Sometimes you mistranslate things. Sometimes things just get lost, and you got to backtrack. That's how life is. You don't get it all up front at once. It's like filming a movie. No movie was ever filmed in one take. You're usually going to have multiple takes because there's a certain feeling the director's trying to get. There's a certain way they want the scene to flow. That's life. Sometimes you make a mistake. Okay, cool. Stop. Back up. Figure it out. Let's go forward. Okay, cool. Now we can learn from that mistake. But we're not learning from anything. We just keep pressing forward and forward and forward. And here we are now. A bunch of confused ass kids walking around the streets, protesting, transitioning, being confused, being assaulted, being hurt, misled, misdirected, misguided, misunderstood, ignored. I don't understand. I really don't. And I hope, I hope you guys feel the same. I trust you've had the experience similar to mine. And if you're on the other side of the coin and you grew up with both of your parents and, you just had that honky-dory lifestyle with a house and a picket fence and dogs and all that shit, look, more power to you. I'm happy for you. I really am. I expected us to change in directions. I expected us to grow in a different direction than where we are, and I'm just so lost and confused half the time now. COVID don't mean shit to me. COVID's just another virus. It's gonna go away eventually. Okay. Oh, it's gonna be with us forever. Like everything fucking else, it's gonna be with us forever. Whoop-de-doo. But it's just like, dude, where are we going? Now I'm just getting ranty. Okay, sorry. I didn't mean to. But hey, maybe I'm just overthinking it. This is D. Another session. Whew, this one got long. Sorry, not sorry. Thanks for making it this far. Thanks for listening to me rant. You're awesome. You're amazing. Keep being beautiful. Keep your head in the motherfucking clouds and your feet on the motherfucking ground. I'll check you next time.